The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Now let's do it. Give me about 10 minutes here with the great legal mind over at Fox News. And now with Sid Rosenberg, fave and regular on this show, my buddy Gregg Jarrett. Greg, good Wednesday morning, pal. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine, thanks. Happy to hear the tunes of one of my old favorite rock pop bands, Yes, who I saw in concert many years ago.
Very good, Greg. You know, usually people just know roundabout, but you just nailed that. That's very impressive.
Well, listen, I'm an old timer, and I love the old rock and roll.
Me too. I am all about classic rock. That's it. I don't like rap. Sorry. I don't like any of the new music. I'm classic rock. I do like the old ballads, like there's a station, Light FM, here in New York. Give me a little Diamond, Streisand, Manilow once in a while, but I'm all about classic rock. I'm right with you, Greg. Let's get to this Jim Comey story. Look, it's silly. They can't arrest him for this. And, you know, it's I hate Jim Comey. I hate him. And I do think he hates the president, and I do think he would not be upset if somebody actually murdered the president. I really believe that. But this is silly. But what it does for Todd Blanche is it says to President Trump, I'm going to be exactly what Pam Bondi wasn't, and that's why maybe instead of Zeldin or Pirro or Dillon, I'm the right guy for the job. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't disagree with your analysis. I think there's, some motivation there as you've described it. I think the legal question, if it ever gets to a jury, is pretty straightforward under the statute. Did Comey intend to threaten the life of the president? In other words, was it willful? Interestingly, the second charge against Comey, which is communicating it to the public electronically, that allows for a lesser standard of recklessly making a threat that, disregards the risk of violence. Now, the grand jury in North Carolina obviously thought this was a true threat. And, at trial, the standard of proof, as we know, beyond a reasonable doubt, is much higher than in a grand jury. However, don't discount the fact, Sid, that this case would be tried in the Eastern District of North Carolina, with which I'm quite familiar. It's predominantly conservative, and those trial jurors may see it the same way.
Oh, wow. So this is completely different than New York or Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A Democrat and a guy like James Comey, they get a get out of jail free card if it's in Washington, D.C. or Virginia. But this is North Carolina. It's the Eastern District. It's a very rural area out there, very conservative. So, it's a different dynamic. And, look, let's be honest. Comey's excuse is totally absurd. Gee whiz, I didn't know the meaning of 8647. Of course he did. But, this is what James Comey always does. When he gets caught engaging in wrongdoing, he feigns ignorance. He plays dumb. I've seen him do it over and over and over again in his testimony before Congress. But the truth is, he's a smart guy. He was the FBI director. He was deputy attorney general. He was U.S. attorney. He knows the law. He surely knows what that phrase is. I memean, the FBI is deeply experienced in coded messages calling for violence. So for Comey to say, oh, yeah, gee, I didn't know what that meant, is utterly ludicrous.
You're right. But I got to tell you, I'm not a lawyer like you or Comey. I'm married to a gorgeous lawyer. And a lot of my friends are lawyers, from you to Takapina to Idala to Dershowitz to Baez. I'm not a lawyer, but just kind of overseeing all these, looking at all these stories. it seems to me that the better case to be prosecuted than Comey is Letitia James. Why is she skating?
Yeah, it has been a tough road to hoe, and a lot of it is because judges have blocked the attempts to bring people like Letitia James and others who allegedly lied, and lied rather blatantly, on loans, mortgages, deceiving banks about their purpose and their intent.
Hold on one second. I know that you're trained to say allegedly, and you'll appreciate this, Greg. Many times on this show, I'll say something, and my wife, who listens every day, will say, will you please say allegedly? but the truth is, those are not allegations. She did lie on that piece of paper, or did she not?
Well, she says it's not an intentional deception or a lie, but rather a clerical mistake or a communications error between herself and whoever filled out the form.
Got it.
That, to me, is preposterous. But nevertheless, I still use the word allegedly, and you're right. Just like your wife, we're trained to be cautious in that regard.
It's smart, and I do it all the time. I have to come back from break sometimes and go, hey, by the way, what I just said, that's an allegation. I want to get to Jimmy Kimmel. Kimmel did something that was grotesque. It doesn't matter that it was a couple of nights before. He's trying to explain it away. He was talking about age, not assassination. It doesn't matter. It was in poor taste. He gets no ratings. His revenue is down. I have no idea why ABC is loyal to the guy, other than ABC likes the fact that their talent bashes President Trump. Now, look, you know this, Greg. Nobody pushes the First Amendment more than I do, okay? I'd be an idiot to want any restrictions on the First Amendment the way I talk on my show. But when I read this morning that the FCC may be looking into doing something with ABC's license, it made me happy. What are your thoughts on that legally?
Yeah, look, I agree with you that Jimmy Kimmel should be kicked off the air because he's no good at his job, not because of what he said necessarily about Melania Trump, which was deplorable. And you have to have hideous judgment to say such a thing. So the fact that he's a guy possessed of poor judgment and seems riven with hate toward Trump, classic TDS syndrome. But most of all, he's not funny. He's not entertaining. He's not remotely interesting. He doesn't do interesting interviews. The guests are all stacked one way, and as a result, his audience share is abysmal. His ratings have been in the toilet for a long time, and how and why ABC sustains this and the affiliates haven't revolted is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
You want a good lead out from your local news with the nighttime, talk show, and that's just about the worst. So if I were an affiliate, I'd say, get rid of this knucklehead.
Yeah, I agree.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes like FDNY Lieutenant Edward J. McDonough Jr., a Marine Corps veteran and lifelong public servant. After 9/11, McDonough served at Ground Zero. He later lost his life to a related cancer, leaving behind his wife Kimberly and their 5 children. Tunnel to Towers honored his sacrifice by paying off the family's mortgage. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org today.